After that whole in Coyote Pass, I want to set him free.
How are you going to do that?
I go and apologize. This is my journey. My hope is for them to receive it well. I just wanted to come and say that I apologize.
Wow.
I apologize. Here's the huge one for saying I didn't love you.
This is my husband here. Why do you think this is appropriate?
Apology is so needed here because this is still so toxic.
Do you apologize that you are toxic to me?
Hey besties, Kody Brown is a joke of a father that is lying, according to one of his children who recently posted on social media. The response by Leon Brown was made after a video went viral of Kody claiming that he was making contact with his children and his children were not reciprocating. Kody was blaming the lack of relationship on the kids, not on him, and claiming that he is doing everything that he can to establish relationships with his kids. And this child, Leon, says it's not true. Here's a couple clips of what Kody has been saying both publicly on the show as well as in interviews relating to his children.
Well, I'm reaching out. When you start to heal a relationship that's gone bad for years, it gets like it's not pretty. So I'm going through the sort of the unpretty process. I don't want to say ugly because it's progress, I guess. But it's mostly the real issue is like we broke up as a family. I can't be the only one that's culpable for that. Everybody else has to take responsibility. But it's like I could have done better, and I know that I could have done better. And of course, I'm making an effort, and have been making an effort to be in contact with my children to go through that hard work of fixing relationships that are really strained.
Yeah. And how is that?
It's really a tough thing because when you're in reality TV or you're doing podcasting or anything like that, what you say goes on record and other people start to like judge you by that. My opinion of myself won't matter. Your opinion of me, what you tell the public, is going to matter. So when you have this happen with your children go, my dad did this or my dad did that, you really have no defense of it because I can't throw my children under the bus, or I've made the mistake of saying something that I shouldn't have about my children, and this hurts relationships. So reality television can be really hard on relationships. I've reached out to every one of my children. I've reached out to every one of my children and multiple times. And if they don't have a relationship with me, it's because they're not reciprocating.
So Kody Brown says on the show last week that he has reached out to every single one of his children. And if the children are not responding, it is because they are not reciprocating and having a relationship with him. Then on Fox 5 in New York on the morning show, he said that he has been working to speak to his children and repair those relationships. And he blamed the estrangement with his children on his ex-wives, claiming they need to take responsibility and the kids are listening to their parent, their mom. And then on the Decider podcast, Kody went as far as to accuse podcasters like me or news journalists like me for reporting on the things that he has said. And then he claimed that those things that we say about him are forming the opinions of his children. And so we need to be careful basically about what we say about him because it impacts his kids. He says that it's not by what he says that it's offensive, it's how we report on him, and that his kids are being influenced by what we say about him. I have watched McKelty watch the show in real time, and I will say without a doubt that McKelty is not getting clips of the show. She's not responding to what other people say about him. She's responding to the words that come out of his mouth. But most importantly, it's not what they're seeing him say on the show. It's how they're being treated when the cameras are off. And this is where what Leon says makes a difference. So today on Instagram, Leon posted this: taking a break from my social media hiatus to say one thing. There's a ridiculous video of my father circulating where he says he reaches out to his children. Let me be effing clear. I have not heard from that man since my brother killed himself. Kody blatantly blew me off at Garrison's funeral. He is a liar. He is a joke of a father. That is all. So Leon saw the clip of the show where Kody is saying that he reaches out to his kids. Those are his own words. And it doesn't matter what the commentary is. They're reacting to Kody's own words, claiming that he is taking the steps to mend these relationships, which Leon says is not true. I do know that McKelty has said that Kody has reached out to her a couple times and she has not responded. So he might be reaching out to some of his kids, at least the ones that he felt he had favor with, but not all of his children. And we know that Kody and Robin's behavior at the funeral and the subsequent fallout from Garrison's death has completely fractured the family to a degree that it's not recoverable, at least when it comes to how the children view Kody. Because Kody, in their view, at least for some of them, allegedly, they believe the way that Kody treated Garrison and spoke about him on the show and made him the center of so much hostility and blamed Garrison and Gabriel for causing his split with Janelle. They believe that Kody's treatment of Garrison led to his spiraling mental health problems. And with Janelle even saying that since the splits and with what's been happening with the estrangement with Kody, Garrison's mental health was struggling. We also know that as a result, Janelle has shared that he began drinking and he was drinking to cope, to try to get through these depressive thoughts and feelings. And he was struggling with alcohol. But the root of it was his thoughts, the way that he was rejected by his father, the way his father was bullying him on the show, and the fallout of all of this happening so publicly. Some of Kody's children will not speak to him because they view what he does on the show as damaging to them, and they blame him for what happened to Garrison, allegedly. That's just what some of them have said. That is what has been put out in the media, in articles. I can't say for sure all of them. I'm just speaking like in general. Some of the kids have had the sense and this feeling. McKelty has been very clear that she doesn't have the capacity to speak to him. She has also stated that Kody's behavior at the funeral was a catalyst for her to cut contact with Kody and Robin. Okay. So with Leon, they are saying that Kody ignored them at the funeral, blew them off, completely blown off, and hasn't contacted them since. And I think it's pointed for them to say, since my brother killed himself, I have not heard from him. On the show, Kody has stated over and over and over again that he was going to repair relationships simply because he wanted more time with his children. He even went as far as to get sympathy in this week's show by talking about Garrison.
But I got a beer with Garrison the last time we ate together.
I'm sure that was a sweet memory for him. But that's like, you're talking about this experience, and those are like, you have some regrets being able to do that with your kids.
Here, Kody claims that right before Garrison died, the last time he saw him, he was able to have a beer with his son. But that's not what he told People magazine after Garrison died. He said that he wished he could have had a beer with his son. And now he's saying he did have a beer with his son. Now, I don't believe that Kody's relationship with Garrison was well. Garrison sent a text message to Kody right before he passed. But most importantly, when Garrison died, the medical examiner listed his cause of death as a self-inflicted gunshot wound, but acute alcohol poisoning was a contributing factor because he was so intoxicated. His blood alcohol level was 0.3 something, 3.4 or 3.3. He was very intoxicated. The alcohol was so severe. The alcohol intoxication was so severe, it impacted his cognitive abilities and he died. Had he been sober that night, he likely would not have taken his life. And Kody here is like, well, I got to have a beer with my son, even though he told people he wished he could have had a beer with his son. So he's lying for sympathy. He's lying all the time. But it's these kinds of lies that are easily provable and easily, like, if you go through the archives, you know that he's lying. These are the things he says that cause his children to not want to have anything to do with him. It's not that I report things and I say that Kody's a bad person, even if I think he's a bad person. It's reacting to what he says about his children. And then when you listen to what the kids say and how they're being treated, you report both sides of the story. So if Kody says, I'm reaching out, and Leon says, no, he's not, I haven't even talked to him since March of 2024, and it's November of 2025, that is 19 months of no contact. And then at the funeral, he doesn't speak to some of his children. I told you that at one of the events that he went to, which was the National Guard, someone who was there told me that he did not speak to some of his children. He completely ignored them, and he walked in as though his shit didn't stink and expected everyone to bow down to him. But the kids equally, some of them at least, didn't talk to him or want to speak to him. I'm going to go on that Kody's lying because of his history of lying. The fact that Leon is making this statement, it breaks my heart, and it reinforces the reporting that I was given like 2 years ago. And it was Kody rejects Leon because Kody does not accept their transition. Kody, I was told, will not speak to Leon because they are transgender, and Kody doesn't accept that. And I was also told that Robin doesn't accept that, and that Robin and her daughters, the oldest ones, had made disparaging comments about Leon, calling Leon evil, mocking Leon. There was reporting that came from the Sun directly of a source close to Kody saying that Kody did not recognize this person, did not accept this person, and would not have a relationship with this person. On the flip side, Meri has continued to have a relationship with Leon. Meri, for her part, has honored Leon's request for privacy, does not speak about Leon on the show. And when asked about Leon, when she's on Instagram lives or on TikTok lives, consistently says, Leon does not want to be public facing. I don't want to invade their privacy. And she'll say something like, they're good. We're good. That's about it. Meri has respected that boundary, which is why you really ever see Kody and Meri talk about Leon. I think Meri's protection of Leon and not allowing it to get ugly on the show is a testament to her love for her child, because if Meri wanted to be honest about why she's fighting with Kody, she would say on the show, it's partially because he tried to screw her over with the money and Coyote Pass, partially about how he mistreats her and Leon, but mostly because of his rejection of Leon and the fact that he refuses to have a contact with them simply because they're transgender. You know, they come from a culture that doesn't accept people that are gay, transgender, non-binary, and they view that as like sinful and evil and wicked. I understand people have a right to their opinions, but when it's your own child and that's how you treat them, I could never do that. I, as a mother, regardless of my own personal views on something, I could never not accept my child if my child said, this is who I am. This is how I feel. Because rejecting them and rejecting that aspect of them is going to be like a knife in the heart, as Kody would say. That's the kind of rejection you don't get over. And it's the kind of rejection by families of people who are transgender and gay that lead to their declining mental health and thoughts of suicide. Accepting them and accepting their journey is part of helping them be mentally healthy. Kody continues to prioritize his insatiable need for fame over the mental health and well-being of his children. And I respect Leon for speaking out and setting the record straight. I think the reason why Kody's on an apology tour coming up is he wants to stop them from telling the truth. Kody's lies can only exist along with other people that enable the lies. So if people in the family will not go along with his lies, he cannot continue to lie and look like a good person, right? Before, when everyone was coddling his lies, he was able to cover up the bad behavior, but now he can't because they don't cover for him anymore. He wants so badly for them to stop and keep covering for him, but he can't fix it. And Kody knows full well that the show is a contributing factor to what's happening in his family, and he doesn't stop because fame is more important to him than family. So I feel bad for Leon. I feel bad for anyone that is rejected by a family member. I feel bad for anyone that is treated that way just because of who they are. And I think Kody is a poor excuse for a father. So we'll see if other children speak out, but that's what I have for today. So tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, besties.